When you went to ESPN, did you anticipate there being some of those roadblocks, and or were you kind of surprised by it?
Initially, no, because I signed with ESPN in April of 2021. My contract only began in June. Um, the UFC deal was announced in May. So I just thought that I was being brought on to beef up their MMA coverage. They only had one person at the time covering it, but I didn't know that they were about to sign a deal with UFC. And the initial deal, if you look back through history, the initial deal was they were just going to air 10 events. It was like 10 to 12 events on Plus. And then a subsequent press release came out and said, no, they're getting the entire uh, UFC deal beginning in 2019. So I went from being like, oh, I, I'm just being brought in. This is a dream. I'm going to get to cover the UFC MMA for ESPN to, oh, wow, they actually have part of the TV deal to, oh, wow, they're the full home of the exclusive home of the UFC in the US. And then I go back to just a couple of years prior, my experience working for the exclusive home of the UFC in America, that's Fox, and it did not end well. So the first thing I did was, call my agent, Nick Khan, who I was like, "Am I in trouble? Like, am I done?" And I learned later on that when they signed the deal, they tried to get ESPN to renege on the deal before it started. Like they were very well aware that I had signed because by
Yeah.
then it had been out, and they tried to say like, "Can you boot this guy before the whole thing starts?" And to ESPN's credit, everyone involved, from Jimmy Pitaro to Norby to everyone in the executive side of things, they didn't even know me. They hadn't even met me, and they said no. So I was very thankful for that because that would have been devastating.